they've raised user
Right.
fees. So
So,
user fees
I mean,
have
for
gone
example,
up
I
to
know
pay for the
the
roads.
Washtenaw Road Commission, they've cut employees, they've cut benefits. Their employees are, I think, like at the level it was like in the 70s. I mean, there's been a lot of cuts that have already been done. There's always, like I said, there's always opportunities for more. But I'm not prepared today to tell you.
No, I didn't expect you to. I just wanted
of the
to
last
say.
10 years, because the fact of the matter, this is a conversation that we've been having for the last 10 years about funding the roads.
But you guys have so many conversations, but
Yeah.
what we want to know is what is accomplished.
Right.
And what, you know, and hear both sides. That's
Yep,
all.
I get it. I appreciate that.
I have
That's part
something
of the
that's going to
problem
kind of
with
plug
term
into
limits.
that in a way,
Sure.
and it's HRS, okay? I happen to be a recipient of some services through HRS. And in January, I was
What
told...
is HR?
Human Resources Services, okay? And so in January, I was told, we're cutting you. What does this mean? I have a representative that was a caseworker I've had for 7 years, since I retired. I tried to get a hold of her. She didn't answer, which is very unlike her. So I kept, then within the next month, I got another letter. No, now this is being taken away from you. And this all started right after I did my review, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I kept calling, kept getting no answer. Then I started getting letters with 2 names on it, her name and somebody else, but no communication. So on and on. I got 5 letters, and when I got to the end of it, 0. And I was so upset, I called your office. And I said, okay, I've been trying to get a hold of these people to explain to me what's going on, so I need to know what I'm doing at this end of it, and I can't get anybody to respond. And you're a young lady. She says, well, you do this and this, and in the interim, I'm going to call the office, and I'm going to speak to Mrs. Markham, who was my worker, and this other lady, whom I don't know who she is. I wouldn't know if I fell over on the street. And within 2 hours, Mrs. Markham called me back. And I said, okay, what's going on here, and why can't I talk with you and sit down and figure out why I'm being told after 7 years with the same income and everything else, I'm not going to be covered anymore. And so she says, well, I don't know, Faith, that can't be right. And I says, and how come, who's this other person and what's going on? Well, I'm no longer doing this service, but since I know you, that's why I'm returning your call. I said, okay. So she had been changed from my caseworker. Nobody told me. This other woman never called. And I also had an appeal in because they declared I was making a certain amount of income, which I was not making. And I supplement my Social Security by having renters in my home. Okay. So I have a renter who's supposed to be there till the end of June. They projected his income till the end of December. It's a projection in that. But I was told that's the way they have to, quote, quote, do things. So that put me significantly above what I would normally be by about $3,000 for the year. Okay, so as it happened, the end of April, the beginning of May was when I was talking to Mrs. Markham. And she says, well, let me look and check it up. And okay, so she says, well, Faith, you're covered completely. What are you talking about? I said, I have a letter that I just received a week ago that says I'm not being covered. What's going on here? Why can't someone call and talk to me as a person? And when I went in, that's what you did. You went in, you sat down, and they went through all your information and asked for certain stuff, so there was proof and all this other stuff. And you knew who you were talking to for 7 years, okay? And she says, no, Mrs. Jackson is going to be taking care of you now. And I said, okay. So the appeal came along, and even though she said I was going to get the benefits about a week before that, I went into the appeal because I wanted to talk to them about where they're picking up those numbers and why they're doing this and that and the other thing, why you're getting no communication. And I had a nice talk with Mr. Clements, who was the one who set up the appeal and whom I had called. He wanted to know when I got another letter if whether to reappeal or not. And he said, well, and I said, and you didn't return my call. Oh, they have 800 to 900 clients per worker right now, and they're cutting people back. And I was told that I will probably never see a worker again in my life, that they are going to lay that down, and you are a number. Your number goes into a computer who makes a judgment on you. Would you like that? Okay. And then it goes to Lansing to another computer. And after it goes through that computer, it's spit out, and someone, in probably not even your county, looks at it and says, okay, all the blocks fit blocks, if there's a little rub on it, one was kicked out, that's what the computer says, that's the way it's going to be. I am so upset that people, young, old, infirmed, are just like the Eskimos, put us on the damn ice cube and send us out to sea because we're nothing but a number anymore, and we're a hindrance to the community. And that's not right. You have people working there that could be holding jobs, and he's cutting, and it's cutting wages and cutting wages and cutting wages, so there's no money to run anything anymore.
Well, that's my point, though.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it fits in what you start talking about.
If you had more, less you were paying the employees, the employees of the state, then you have more money for the services. And
They
that's what I
consider them
also
employees of
noticed.
the state.
Well, we've lost a lot of revenue, so.
No, I know, but if you reduce the expenses to the employees of the state of Michigan.
We're just losing employees. Like, we're cutting 150 employees.
I know,
out
and that's
of
what
the
they do instead of,
department, and we're
but
working on
that's
it.
my point.
Yeah.
Because I did budgeting for Safe House also, and that's what they would do, is they'd say, well, the employees of these, and I was president of another nonprofit also, but that's what they would do, is instead of reducing the revenue coming in and reducing what the employees got paid, they take away services. And that's what's happening, and that's what I'm concerned about, is the services of the people that need
But the
it.
people that work there are employees of the state.
So
And they're,
I
know, but
think we're talking the same thing. Basically, what he's saying is we need to figure out ways to adjust the benefits. But I would just say that we have had a significant shrinkage of revenue based on some decisions that were made in the past, and so now we're trying to regroup, and we do have a challenge. That's why Brian's here today. We take constituent services very seriously. That we want to help you, so we will do our best. We have also experienced the same problem that you're experiencing.
Well,
where we used
I mean,
to be
with
able,
me, it was kind of serious. Okay,
I
first
know
off,
you all have very.
almost 6 months to make an appeal is ridiculous as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
But I'm fat and sassy at my old age, okay, and I'm not going to take it, and I'm going to keep looking until I find out somebody that's willing to listen. And it's just not right. I mean, there are other people that just sit back. I've got a neighbor, just sit back. Oh well, I'm going to die because you can't get medical benefits. You can't get in to see a doctor because you don't have any medical benefits. You can't get medicines because you don't have a doctor who will prescribe medicines. What do these people do?
Well,
And here in Wetmore Lake too, someone who can't drive anymore, how do they get to the doctor? How do they get to the hospital? How do they do these things? With no transportation, you gotta depend on your neighbor. Hope he can take you.
It's raining.
Oh,
Yeah,
You
it's
okay?
gonna wash the inside of your car.
So come back, because I've talked to you, we're working on transit, right, up here. That is something that I've been trying to get going, so.
okay.
Um,
And I got a few more things.
okay. But I know we all have a lot of things, and
Well, the other one is transportation.
Okay.
And the new road, and it's all been approved and blah, blah, blah. The final question was from me.
come back. We'll
Okay,
do it. We're not going
come
anywhere.
back from me. Okay, how are you gonna route all this traffic when you're closing down? We haven't got to that yet, but we'll let you know.
Okay. Okay.
I live over there by that stuff.
Can I interject a question here? Because
Sure,
I
you
got
want to
here after
introduce
you
yourself, because
started.
we introduced.
Well, that was going to be my question, was because I didn't realize it. I thought it was more like an open house, like you
It
come
is.
in any
Yeah,
time.
it is.
So it's like,
Oh, okay.
okay, so
We all introduced
so I
ourselves.
just wait till my turn to talk about.
Yeah,
what,
so I'll just
or I didn't know
introduce.
if you were covering certain topics first.
We did talk a little bit in a very broad way about the committees I'm working on, some of the work I did in my first term, and I introduced Brian. I'm Gretchen, and this is Brian. He's my constituent services person. So if you have, and I didn't say this, but if you have a specific constituent issue, really it'd be best to talk with him later, because number one, it's personal, and number two, we are trying to talk about broader issues here.
Okay.
So-
No, and I didn't mean to interrupt because I got here late and other people got
Yeah.
here earlier, so they
So
should
what-
go.
what's your
So
name?
My name's Ann Grindle.
Ann, thank you
And
for
then I'll
calling
let
this one.
other people. I'll
Okay.
wait my turn.
Okay. Well, no, it's really
Go ahead.
open. Yeah, we're learning from each other about issue areas. So
I have a question. We met, this man is from Republican Tracker, and this is the first one of these I've been to. And I'm really excited to be at a coffee hour. But I'm assuming that we're Republicans and Democrats here, and we're all working together
Right.
because you're working for all of us.
Right.
Is that the case?
Yes.
I mean, is it?
Yeah.
Well, and
Okay.
this is the first time that
Oh, okay.
they've sent
Yeah, I
a
didn't.
spy.
I was
They
hoping
must
this
really
wasn't
be
a partisan
concerned
thing.
I was
about
going to
this.
say,
You know.
what is Republican Tracker?
Paranoia.
Oh.
What is that?
Yeah.
Well,
Extreme paranoia.
yeah.
Is it a, I'm assuming it's a political group, but I've not heard.
But he won't say.
Oh, okay. All
He
right.
won't say who pays him. He won't say anything.
Okay. So I just have general issues that I'd
Sure.
like you to address,
Yeah, of
but
course.
again, I don't wanna jump in
No,
because
I don't know
got
if
here
anybody
late.
else
Other
came
people
for
have
anything in
things.
particular that hasn't had a chance to speak. Is there, did you guys have certain issue areas that you want to talk about?
Well, I guess do you mind if I jump in?
No, cause I got here late, so, and I have kind of a list of just
Okay.
other things that probably other people aren't interested in.
I'm just curious about the roads and whose province it is. I know MDOT is coming through and making a lot of changes to the roads, and I think Faith was interested in hearing about that. And one personal pet interest I've had is Whitmore Lake Road ends, and you know when US 23 came through, it really to me disrupted the community. For years I lived in Ann Arbor, and I would drive up Whitmore Lake Road looking for Whitmore Lake, but it ends at 6 Mile. And there's no sign saying to get to Whitmore Lake, you turn right and then left, and then you'll get to the lake. So that's a little bit of I just think in terms of a branding or a community image or a welcoming aspect, Whitmore Lake is really hurt by the fact that there's no.
Yeah, you should talk to the township board about that,
Okay.
and then the other group would be the Washington Area Transit Transportation Study, and they do the transportation planning for the county, and they could also talk to you about if there's any program. But usually the road commission works with Watts and the community to address things like that.
Thank you.
And they probably won't do it till after they finish the highway, will they?
I have no idea.
Anybody know when the highway's supposed to even